Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Bob Woods, Manager of Social Selling here at Frontline Selling. I'm very glad you joined us today for a very special webinar, Ignite Your B2B Sales with the Power of Video. So today's webinar is going to be different from others we've done in the past, as you'll be seeing everyone live, and hopefully you'll be seeing some actual videos as well. So we're going to stop sharing here. And at this point, hopefully everyone can see everybody else. So let's go ahead and introduce our panel. Mario Martinez Jr. is the CEO and founder of Vengreso, and Nimesh Gupta is the COO and co-founder of OneMob. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic, Bob.
Good, good. Glad to hear it. So why don't each of you give a quick elevator speech about what your companies do? Mario, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Sure, thanks so much. So Vengreso is a digital sales transformation company, and we help sales folks reach the other 90% of buyers that they are not reaching through cold outreach. And we utilize tactics such as digital sales training with video or social or texting to be able to accomplish that, along with helping to transform one's individual personal digital profile so that they can actually attract. And for the marketing organizations, we spend a lot of time with marketing, helping to design content strategies and content execution and distribution strategies, so that when salespeople are actually engaging online with someone, or they're sending a video message, that they're actually sending content that is of value to their buyers at the same time. And so we work with marketing to be able to help produce that. That's what we do.
Very good. Nimesh, you're up to bat.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Bob. Really appreciate it. So company's OneMob. We are a venture-backed company out in San Francisco, and we are a digital experience platform. You're going to be hearing the word digital a lot, as Mario just threw in there quite a bit. So we are a digital experience platform that enables customer-facing reps to more personally engage with their customers and or prospects in a fully trackable way. And I can kind of dive deeper into that during today's webinar.
Yeah, that sounds great. So let's actually just plow right into it then. So the first question that I believe everyone probably has on their mind on this call, and as they're watching on demand as well, is why specifically should B2B salespeople care about video? And Mario, why don't you go ahead and take that one first?
Well, first off, Bob, I think it's helpful to really talk about the difference between video marketing for marketers and video marketing for sales. And those are two very different worlds. Oftentimes, sales folks think of, oh yeah, when we do a video, we'll upload a big massive list. Someone will take a professionally made video and actually, tag, "Hey John," inside of the whiteboard that's behind, an actor inside of a video. That's video marketing for marketing. That's done at mass scale. But video marketing for sales, or social video, as we like to call it with myself and our partners at OneMob, is really focused in on helping to create digital personalization, one-to-one messaging, or one-to-few type of messaging. And the most important thing that we as salespeople need to recognize and realize is that anytime we create outreach to any buyer whatsoever, that should include some sort of call to action, whether it's to call us back, whether it's to set up an appointment, whether it's to read something of value. And that's what video marketing for sales should do. It should drive an individual on one individual video landing page that says, "Hey guys," or "Hey Bob, reaching out to you. We talked about this particular article down below. If you look at this particular thumbnail, it has a heading of whatever it might be. Go ahead and click on that now and read that, and I'll answer your questions related to our product, our technology, our service, an issue, a problem, whatever it might be." So I think that's important for people to understand. Why should they care about it? Look, at the end of the day, there are four things we know about today's modern buyer. And one of those four things is that they're video hungry. And the proof is in the pudding, right? By the end of 2018, experts have forecasted that 76%, 76% of the world's internet traffic will be as a direct result of video consumption. And Cisco just put out a study, given the fact that Cisco has a massive play in the thing called internet, that by 2021, 81% of the consumer internet related traffic is going to be consumed as a result of consuming video. So hands down, the individuals are consuming video at a rate that is nothing we've ever seen before. The question that we have to ask though is, are business executives, B2B executives, taking that same type of activity that they would do on a individual, personal, consumer level, and are they bringing that into the business world? And we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, that sounds good. Nimesh?
Yeah, thanks for that, Mario. And Mario clearly is he's kind of paved the way with I feel OneMob in this whole video evolution, and it's been great partnering with the folks at Vengreso. Well, we were actually partnering with Mario before he was kind of his own shop, and then he orchestrated this amazing merger. So anyways, just wanted to throw that out there. So for me, if you take one step back, I mean, I think just having been, so I'm actually a lawyer by trade and an electrical engineer. So I went from designing circuit chips to a patent litigator, to writing patents, to then founding my own company. And, what I have kind of noticed, at least in the last 4 or 5 years, is that sales reps specifically are some of the most talented workers in this kind of knowledge economy, right? They have so much to offer, and it's not even just these reps, but the community around it, right? Like, for example, you, Bob, I mean, one, sales influencer taking the time to learn more about the practice in Mario's world consists of this on a day-to-day basis, where he's constantly connecting with sales influencers and kind of paving that path. And for me, video enables these reps and these influencers to uncover their why, right? And if you think about it, and I'm a huge Simon Sinek fan, and he talks about the, the how, what, why as it relates to companies. And there's this recent podcast that he gave with Tony Robbins that talks about the why of oneself. And without getting too philosophical here, I feel like with video, it enables me to uncover my why to you so that you give me a platform to communicate with you and to tell you what it is that I am trying to quote unquote sell or offer you so that it can impact your day to day. So that's the way I've always looked at it. And I'm passionate about enabling any customer facing rep, not only just sales, to helping them uncover their why. And it's through video, because video enables this passion to emerge. It uncovers this passion. I can't communicate with you like this via an email. It needs to be through this face-to-face interaction.
Yeah. Yeah. So what should they be communicating basically? I mean, is this just a way to do a sales pitch just with video, or what type of message should people be doing when they first start with video here? And that's for either one of you.
Yeah, I can take that one quickly, Mario, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a phased approach, right, Bob? I wish I had the perfect answer to say, hey, this is what it is. But it is a relationship that you need to build, and that's why we partner so well with the folks at Vengreso, because they kind of pioneered this in the social selling space. And the gist of their message, not to marginalize it, is how do you develop a relationship with someone and then offer to them what it is you are going to offer to them. And
right.
With video, it is that. It is, how do I humanize myself with you, take time and connect with you in a way where you start trusting me to then start, again, selling to you what I need to. And the Challenger sale has this really compelling stat where over 50% of why folks buy now is because of the selling experience. And that selling experience is how personal I am to you, right? I need to develop that relationship with you in order for you to hear me. So that's what I'll kind of say on that. I don't know, Mario, if you wanted to add anything.
And so first off, videos can be used in multiple ways. We actually have 18 different ways that we teach in our digital sales video course program on how to actually develop the right, first off, mindset and skill set. And we exclusively utilize the OneMob platform. And there are 4 major providers that are out there, right? And so as the consultant that looks at, what are the ways to do this, hands down, we have chosen OneMob. And the reason we've done that is very strategic in nature, because you have the ability to be able to create videos as a way to reach out and touch someone for the very first time. You also want to be able to utilize the technology to be able to not just reach out and touch someone for the very first time, but what about reaching out and touching someone throughout the entire sales process? Because what we know with 100% certainty is that if we can actually see someone face to face, scientifically proven, our brains are hardwired to trust the human face. Our brains are hardwired to be able to listen to modulation and be able to interpret that into, can I trust that individual? In addition, our brains are also hardwired to watch movement. And if we can actually keep someone's attention longer than our competitors can by sending a text-based email, through movement, through modulation, through actual seeing someone face-to-face, you can build trust quicker, faster, and stronger and outpace your competitors. And this is an important element that people need to understand about video. They also need to understand will my customer want to watch a 15-minute long dissertation on a video? Heck no, absolutely not, right? They will not want to do that. But would they rather watch read text or watch a short video in order to be able to get the same information? Well, there was a study that was done, and it showcased that 59% of senior executives would rather watch a short video than read text if both text and the video were actually sitting on the same, pardon me, on the same exact page, right? So what is short? Well, we'll talk about that in a little later in terms of some things that you can take away on the types of videos that you should create and how long they should be. But also, what we also know is that executives are actually consuming video. We know that our buyers are digitally connected, socially engaged, and they're video hungry, and they're mobile attached. We know this. We know that our buyers are actually pulling in data before they actually get to us. They're consuming data. And we also know that if you asked your marketing department, one of the top 5 tactics for 2018, as identified by the Content Marketing Institute, is, in fact, use of video. Hands down. In fact, this presentation that we're doing right now, we chose to do a only video-based presentation, not a death by PowerPoint, right? For the obvious reasons that hopefully, and you can throw it into the chat or the Q&A, and you can say, look, I'm hearing Mario, I'm looking at him, I'm seeing his engagement, I'm seeing his facial expressions, and I'm seeing the passion. Yes, I actually believe, I trust, versus if you were just looking at, say, a picture of me. And with that picture, all you saw was my voice. And what if my voice sounded just like this? And I'm saying to you, video is a way that you can engage with your buyers. Now, if you look at that, and there are stats that prove that, you can immediately tell that there's an absolute difference between using video and actually hearing that voice modulation and hearing the passion that comes behind that, right? So I don't know if I answered the question. Did I answer the question, or did I go off on some crazy tangent?
You clicked all the boxes there, I think.
Okay, all right, good.
But still, I mean, I think that just in turn, and look at me, I'm starting to use my hands now just because you're using.
We're gonna get a hallelujah inside the house.
but I think that just in terms of, you know, even just seeing you and seeing the passion that you have in this, and hopefully everyone on this call and with the products and services that they're selling, they have that same type of passion too. I think that actually goes a long way in just instilling confidence in anyone who views that video, is that, you know, hey, this guy really enjoys his product, or this gal really enjoys her product to the point where she's talking about it, she's very enthusiastic about it. This might be worth a look. I mean, and as you said, Mario, and I think Nimesh, you said this too, just in terms of a boring, you know, text or text-based email or whatever, video really provides that extra punch, it seems like.
Well, let me give you some hardcore stats, right?
Please.
We ran a test, and this was internally to Vengreso. We sent out to 1,043 individuals, 1,043 brand new LinkedIn connections. All right. So obviously we put our money where our mouth is. We socially engage, we socially prospect, we socially connect to potential buyers. Now, I would love to see in the chat window, any of you guys to take a wild guess. If you were to send an email to a cold prospect, what is the rate of deliverability to a cold prospect? Throw it into the chat window right there in terms of what you think might be the rate of deliverability. Yeah, absolutely. So first off, before we get to the content, because we're going to cover that through in this webinar, and for the individual who asked that question, thank you for asking. We will absolutely answer that, and I'll give you, there's 18 different ways that we teach people how to use content, and we're going to give you a few of those. But I gave you actually a couple. One, which is the LinkedIn welcome connection message, right? So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I will respond back to you with a standard message that has a video message, and you'll see what that looks like. Two, I just gave you another one, which is go ahead and send me an email to mario@vengreso.com and watch what happens in terms of my out of office. You'll be I think you'll be quite excited and impressed over that.
Yep.
But the one thing I want to talk about is how else you might be able to utilize video to create engagement. And we've seen this in partnership with OneMob. We worked with, as an example, one of the NFL teams. Now, the NFL teams that we've worked with, New York Jets, San Francisco 49ers, they, in fact, have utilized video to be able to showcase their product. Their product is an experience. That experience is a suite life, as an example, at the Jets Stadium. And what's interesting is that these individuals are selling multi-million-dollar deals, and the people that are signing the checks on these multi-million-dollar deals are usually Fortune 500 accounts, and the people that they're targeting are the CEOs, CFOs, and the executive VPs. These are the only folks that have the ability to be able to sign a multi-million-dollar sponsorship or multi-million-dollar engagement for a suite. Now, I tell you that because I want you guys to understand that this is not like we're selling a widget. We're actually selling a very large experience for a very large ticket item with a very large title that requires the approval. So one of the fears that individuals had was looking at video, and they're uncomfortable with video, right? And people being able to see them. And I'm going to call a spade, and people have all the excuses in the world about video. I'm too ugly. I'm too fat. I don't look good. I have a zit. My hair doesn't look good. You know, I'm losing my hair. Everything in between that you could possibly think of, we've heard it all. But here's the one thing I want you to think about in terms of leveraging video. If you did two things, number one, if you took a video camera, this little lens right there, and if you pretended that this is Nimesh Gupta from OneMob, and I'm talking to Nimesh, that will eliminate at least 50% of your fears. If you can pretend that this little lens right here is Nimesh, you can now create a different type of experience. The second thing that you need to be cognizant of is ask yourself this question. If you walked into a networking event, maybe even an event where you guys are having an exhibitor's booth, or maybe a customer appointment, would you walk into that meeting with a bag over your head? Because you were afraid of someone seeing the hair loss, the zit, whatever imperfection you believe you may have. Of course not. You wouldn't be in sales, period, end of discussion. You wouldn't put a bag over your head. So we've got to get out of our own way. And what we do know is that when you engage with video and you leverage it from a social perspective, video becomes very, very powerful. And Nimesh, I'll let you comment on this, and then I want to come back and showcase through LinkedIn a couple of examples that you might be able to engage with content to be able to attract your targeted buyer. Nimesh.
Yeah, thanks for those best practices, Mario. And it is important that you first kind of get into the mental mindset of the actual recording before you record it. Some people have different temperaments and kind of strategies in how they do it. They may go off the cuff, but I do think you need to invest in some energy behind that mindset, specifically one that Mario mentioned. So one thing I will add in terms of the content piece, which I think is very important, is you want to educate your buyer, right? So I think folks who record a video and immediately go into, hey, this is Nimesh from OneMob, book a meeting on my calendar, it's very off-putting, right? Because I don't know who you are, you don't know who I am, and I'm immediately asking you for something. So in today's world where there is just so much digital content out there, so much news, so many stats, you want to become a curated feed for that particular person that you're reaching out to. So for example, if you are in the security space and you are reaching out to a buyer, educate them through 3 tips, for example, of what they should be apprised of based on some recent current events, and become that person's trusted advisor so that that person doesn't have to navigate their Twitter feed or go to TechCrunch or go to whatever publications they are going to get that information. And you can do that through a personalized video like this, where I just start talking to it, or now OneMob has green screen functionality and other aspects to do so, where you can have as bullet points listed the 3 things that you are going to cover. And that's kind of a side note in terms of the actual video itself. But the point here is become that person's trusted advisor, in that they will want to hear from you. Make it that type of relationship where you are educating the buyer, and the buyer saying, hey, you know what? This person knows what they're talking about. They've provided me some great nuggets when it is time for me to engage, or I am thinking about maybe, learning more about a particular stat that person may have told me, then I will engage with that person. And the greatest thing is that there is that opportunity today to do so. Because again, the first thing I go to is my Twitter feed. I see so much, and I'm in the digital experience sales enablement space. If someone were to curate a few facts for me in terms of, companies that recently raised funding in my space, or a few stats that have came out, and directed those to me and perhaps other buyers. It doesn't need to be a video just to me, but a pool of buyers that say, someone recorded a video, sent it to me, Mario, and a few others, because we're in a very similar space. That would then enable me to really garner trust in that person, so that I will hear him out the next time.
Perfect. All right. So over here on the right-hand side is essentially what we've got is a video that I had published. Now, this video is a thought leadership piece, right? This is on old school selling versus new school, modern day selling. And what we want to encourage you, here's your third tip that somebody asked for: what's the type of content I can create, right? Establish yourself as a thought leader. You create your less than 2-minute long script. And the beautiful thing about OneMob is that it actually has a teleprompter. So you can create your script. It'll take you 10 minutes to create your script, and you can create video content like this. Now, video is hot on LinkedIn. This is the one thing on LinkedIn that LinkedIn is actually, through the algorithm, is accelerating more views. So if you put a video natively onto LinkedIn and you create this, what I want to show you is the type of analytics that you can get. Now, if you look over here on the left-hand side, you'll see that I had 86 people from PGI, 68 from ADP, 64 from Sprint, 41 from Oracle, people that have actually viewed this video. Now, here's the question. Is my video getting to the right audience? The answer to that question is all of these companies are my prospects right now, or client that I am working with. So we are continuing to land and expand. So here's the number one question that you have to ask. If you include some of our social selling skills, which is a connection strategy, along with a social surrounding of the targeted buyers into your network, and you leverage video, the power of video, can you start now creating a account-based selling methodology to make your message stick? The answer is 100%. Here's the example.
Yep.
Now, the other beautiful part about this is that there are over 333 people that are on LinkedIn that are CEOs that are viewing my content. But now let's take a look at the one of the other important pieces. Note that there were over 7,584 views. I can bring my traffic to me, and you'll notice up there at the top that I had 117 likes, 25 comments, which turned into at least 5 meetings so far. Wow. So you can use video one-to-one. You could also use it in the form of social engagement by bringing native video. And the beautiful thing about OneMob, and I'm going to back out of here for a second here and share this other screen. The beautiful thing about OneMob is that you can see this video right here where Kurt Shaver, my chief sales officer, and myself, we're actually recording a OneMob presentation, a OneMob video. And you see this thing at the bottom, it's a branded video, right? You see a banner along the bottom, and you could actually integrate your own personal branding. You could also have overlay text that is included. All of these things can be placed not only on social, but they could also be brought into a sales video landing page. And that sales video landing page has a lot of great content that you could actually have a branded video, but on that page, you can say directly below, what I want you to take a look at is this thumbnail, that thumbnail. Or what I love to do is over here in the upper left-hand corner, yeah, right here, you see my phone number, my email address, you can contact me there. So you've got your own personalized landing page that can drive call to actions. And that's another way that you can be able to engage with the right type of content.
Great, great. We did have another question come in. Says, we have sales assistants who are trying to penetrate existing accounts and prospect for new customers. They aren't that savvy with social media, social selling. If they use video and sending email, would they just include their value prop in the video? Why their prospects should do business with them? I think, it's a bit more of a content related question there, but how do the video and the email kind of work together hand in hand, basically, I think is what the question is there.
So I'm going to take a quick stab at this, Nimesh, and then I would love for you to get your feedback on this. But look, guys, Holly, thank you so much for asking that question. Fantastic question. But I want to answer it with a question. If you were to actually be on site at an event and you shook my hand and you wanted to prospect to me, Mario Martinez, the CEO of Vengreso, would you say, "Hi, Mario, nice to meet you. Hey, by the way, we are X company, and what we do is this, and I would like to set up a meeting with you for this, and here's our value proposition. We have 2,000 companies that we've worked with, 5,000, blah, 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 and we help companies, blah, 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 and here's all the case studies." No, you wouldn't do that. You would never do that in real person. See, here's the thing about sales. The thing about sales that we know is that people want to do business with people who are interested in them. So before they find out that you're interesting. So be interested in the prospect that you're trying to communicate with. Introduce yourself. Be able to have call to actions that are of value. Send me a video. Here was a great message that someone sent to me yesterday. And it was not the right, I'm not the right person to prospect to, but they sent me a message and they said, "Mario, I've noticed that you had a 90% growth in 2017 off of your LinkedIn page. What was more interesting is I actually heard the podcast that talked about," and she identified the podcast with the person that she listened to, because I have a podcast called Selling with Social. "And I love this point about blah. It actually made me want to reach out to you, and I'd love to have a conversation with you to be able to see how you are solving this particular problem, which you didn't address in the podcast." Hallelujah. That was a fantastic point. Unfortunately, I'm not the right person to talk to. So she became interested in me before I became interested in her. And that's the exact same thing that you do in sales, period, and a discussion. And you take that same exact best practice into video. Nimesh.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great answer. And I think this whole showing that person that you are interested, and I will add, only show it in an authentic way, right? The way that this woman reached out to Mario was a very authentic way. There were very real stats, and it did leave an impression on Mario to the point where he is addressing it during this webinar, which I think is fantastic. So again, to answer that question, and thanks for asking, is you have to have a phased approach. First, develop that relationship through some type of authenticity, or be authentic rather. And it's not just like, it can't be fake, right? It has to be something that's real, that's relevant. And then when the time is right, deliver that value proposition. And as you'll notice, this is not a one day to 1 week process. It is, months to almost several months. So you have to think, and a lot of our buyers of OneMob and Mario's training programs have already committed to this long-term digital transformation. And that's just a fancy way of saying, hey, we will use digital assets to communicate with folks, but knowing that once this commitment is made, it's going to take time. And you start developing this kind of drip campaign digitally. And you use various channels, starting with social, then video, etc. But the point I'm trying to make here is you need to start today, because if you don't, and it's not a scare tactic, there's just so much junk and noise out there. There really is, right? So much content out there that you need to make yourself relevant. And if you don't, you're going to get left behind. And that's why a lot of folks are adopting video. And it's not just at the buyer level, the executive level, but these reps. They're waking up, they're going to work saying, hey, how am I going to meet my quota? How am I going to stand out and develop trust with these particular prospects? And that's why they are experimenting with new various ways to communicate with folks.
Okay. And also, I just put into the chat window a link. So I want you all to go to the chat window right now and copy that link. This is actually one of our most popular videos that we have published, and I cannot take credit for it. This was our chief sales officer, who's a very conservative dude when it comes to his image. And when you watch this video, this has got tens of thousands of views when you see this particular video because of the unique nature. So I'm going to give you the last piece of advice, and you ask, what types of content can we create? Well, here you go. This is if you want to invite somebody to an event. For example, we create these types of videos when we want to invite somebody to a webinar, to get them on a webinar, which is an educational learning platform. Think creative. And when you click on that link, then you'll be able to see an extremely creative way of how to reach your targeted audience to invite them to an event. In this case, it was a live event, so it was actually like a trade show that we were going to, but the principle still applies to a webinar. And I promise you, you'll never see anything like this before.
And one last thing I wanted to add, Bob, was that, a lot of this is a behavior shift. And, OneMob is that technical offering. It is the platform that facilitates this. But a lot of this, again, because it's behavioral change in nature, requires a lot of training. And what I would urge folks to do is to reach out to folks like Mario, specifically Mario, in becoming kind of apprised of the certain things they should be thinking about. Because as you can see, even in this webinar, we haven't really talked about the tech that is utilized to enable these videos. And we at OneMob like to think we are the leaders in the space because we do focus on it. That said, a lot of our competitors are doing really great things. But because we've spent the last 4 years laser focused on just this component, we feel like, we've developed a very robust platform. The point here is I would urge you to talk to folks like Mario in developing that particular digitization plan and adopting this mindset of, hey, I am committed to the long term in digitally transforming my organization. And it's going to require the following. And Mario will, certainly walk you through that. And you can always reach out to us too. But this kind of partnership that we have with Vengreso has been kind of helpful in giving that total package to our customers.
Yeah. It's like I always like to say, Nimesh, a tool with a fool is still a fool. Or a fool with a tool is still a fool. How about that?
Right. Yes.
But the point is that you've got the technology piece that is going to enable some pretty amazing things. And one of the things I love about the OneMob platform is, again, you need to think about this. Every engagement, whether it's an email, whether it's a social prospecting, whether it's a connection message, whether it's a video message, whether it's a text message, we have the omni-channel approach to prospecting, right? I wouldn't say video is the silver bullet, but it is definitely a bullet, and it must be a bullet that you include into your arsenal. And so when you think about this from the concept of leveraging video, to Nimesh's point, you've got mindset, skill set, and then tool set. Those are the three components that you have to have in order to be able to get this right. And if you look at what your sole purpose in life is to create more conversations, whether you're an account manager or a hunter, a farmer, a hybrid, whatever, SDR, BDR, inside sales, field marketing, whatever, it's to create more conversations with the right people. Video is absolutely a way that will create more conversations with more people.
And I can't think of a better place to wrap this up here, especially because we're 10 minutes over now. Note to self: whenever we do video in the future, schedule these things for 45 minutes. So,
or tell Mario to shut up.
So very good. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. We want to thank everyone for joining us today. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions out there. We can get you to Mario. Obviously, connect with Mario and Nimesh on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me as well on LinkedIn. If you have any questions about social selling or prospecting and really being that omni kind of person, using all channels effectively when it comes to your B2B sales, please reach out to us as well. You see our phone number up there. Our website is up there. Our social channels are up there. And if you want to get to us directly, just go to go.frontlineselling.com/webinars, and we will reach out to you as well. We've got a little form that you can fill out there and take things from there. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody out there in webinar land for joining us as well.